Breaking news. Toot, 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 toot. Yeah,
Yeah.
breaking news on the Dota Bag podcast. 8:41 a.m. I get the first messages come out. Matt Canada has been fired. I'm still in shock. I am still in shock. Where were you when you heard the news?
I was actually sitting doing work, and one of my friends who covers the Steelers, whose name will be not mentioned, texted me, and I said, "Oh boy." And at first, I thought it was one of those jokes because it was the picture of Matt Canada on there, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, what kind of meme is this?" And then it's like, "No."
Right.
And people say, well, why are you guys that surprised? Well, one of my favorite stats that came out of today was it's been since 1941 that the Steelers fired somebody during the season. The best part about that is Burt Bell, who fired himself.
He fired himself.
I'm going to fire myself. I just want to let you know it's gotten to the point that I suck.
You know what? I suck. I'm done, guys. I'm
not cut out for this. So yeah, we're gonna just nix me and Joe. One of the first things I actually did think about in all seriousness was how yesterday you and I multiple times on the podcast talked about chinks in the armor. We talked about things we saw, Najee, Deontay Johnson going off on Tomlin on the sidelines. And so I don't know if this was all a culmination for what happened today, but I think Sunday's loss to the Browns was a breaking point of whatever that was. You picked on a few points. I did. A lot of media did Sunday through Monday that, it's starting to show the frustration, whether it's with Kenny Pickett or the way things are going. And I said here yesterday, I think it's with the whole overall thing. It's like, again, going back to, the one thing I thought was, Kenny was obviously very frustrated after the game. He held his composure. But to sit there and say, well, we practiced in man, then they went to zone coverage, and we didn't know what. Well, basically, Kenny was okay, but Matt
we didn't know what to do. Yeah, it was like, well, they did something different than we thought, so we were done.
Right, what? And zone defense wasn't invented last week. I hate to tell you. So, and I think that's what it was. And but yeah, man, I mean, when you're averaging 280 yards a game, fifth fewest, 16.6 a game. They're the only team above 500 that's got a negative point differential. I think they're minus 27 or minus 26 last I looked. So, I mean, all that stuff, and I guess that's the thing. Like, I don't think you or I or Allison or Leanne, when we have them on here, come out here and say, well, we know more than Mike Tomlin or we know more than, any of these guys. We know enough that what was happening hasn't been working and needed changed. It's like an employee that you just kind of, if you've been with a company long enough and a boss says to you, hey, Joe, what do you think about this guy we hired? And you say, hey, he might be a nice guy, but you know what? It's not there. And I think that's the kind of the general mentality. I don't rejoice in anybody losing their job, but this needed to happen. I'm glad it happened. I'm with you. I'm still shocked. I just didn't think it was going to happen. I just don't think that's Mike Tomlin's way. And here we are with an emergency podcast the next day.
I never thought it would happen. We've been talking about this dude for more than 2 years now.
Right.
And like you said, we're not experts, but we know enough to know that this is not going well. And but the thing is, we keep saying it, and people, the fire Canada chants and stuff. And when I hear that, it's like, well, you're just wasting your time. They're not going to fire him. What are you doing? What do you do? This is a waste of time. We all want him gone. He's not going to be gone. We got to stick with him to the end of the season because that's when his contract is out, because they don't fire anybody in the middle of the season. Something got so bad, and it was that Browns game. And thank you, Browns. Thank you. You don't know what you did. Yeah, it's your Super Bowl when you beat the Steelers. Congratulations. And I saw some of you burning terrible towels. That's going to come back to haunt you, you idiots. But Thank you, Browns, for beating us with a rookie third string quarterback.
Yeah.
Thank you. That doesn't stand. That is the final straw. You lose. Hey, the Browns love beating the Steelers, but the Steelers love beating the Browns, and they hate losing to them. And that had a lot to do with it. But I think the big thing was the players finally could not take it anymore. Now, these are the big questions. What's going on behind the scenes? Was it Tomlin that hated Canada and the owner forced him to keep him all this time? Or was it that's the big question today, is who actually made the call? Was it Tomlin or was it Rooney? Also, were the players so frustrated with Matt Canada or were they so frustrated with Kenny Pickett? Who knows? But it got so bad that they just all season, Tomlin's been asked about it, and he gives his coach speak, Tomlinisms, all this stuff. But this year it's been way overboard because he has been covering up. He's been compensating for all the what on earth is going on, and it's like a boiling kettle. You try to keep it down, and eventually it explodes, and it exploded, and they had no choice but to do something because it got beyond the point of return.
He even came out with a new one today. We're not going to urinate on the fire. What is that even about? Who urinates on a fire? I mean, I don't even know what that means.
I just remember that Ren and Stimpy song, "Don't Whiz on the Electric Fence."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Right.
Who would think of that? Who would think it's like, oh my God, there's a fire.
Yeah,
I better pee on this thing.
Yep, I'm gonna come up with a peeing on a fire analogy. That's gonna kick it off. That's what I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I don't know. The original thing that was sent to me this morning, is one of the people that was kind of credited with breaking the story. It originally said it was Rooney that fired him. Then Mike Tomlin gets up there and it says, look, how do I say this in a way I don't want to say it? I don't think Mike Tomlin is a flat out liar. However, he has a way to circumnavigate things that aren't necessarily true. I don't believe for a second that was his decision. I can't believe for a second he didn't call the team president, that Khan or Rooney, none of them were privy to this at all. Bullpucky. No way. I don't know. And I don't think, honestly, I don't think Tomlin would have done it. I think Tomlin, we already heard him say it Sunday. We don't live in our fears. We're not going to look back at that. That's the ultimate, hypocritical thing there. Well, we look back at it, and now we're going to fire a guy over it, which in the Steelers, Joe, they just don't, like 1941, right? They don't go by knee-jerk reactions. It's not a Mike Tomlin thing. It's not a Bill Cowher thing. It's not a Chuck Noll thing. They don't do it. And they did it today. So, yeah, it's, you look at those things like Jimbo Fisher lost his job and what Texas A&M's got to still pay him $76 million. He makes $26,982 a day for the next 8 years of his life. And that's kind of,
that's a nice car. Dude could get a nice car every single day.
Yeah, that's how much he's going to make for the next 8 years. And that's kind of thing you sit there and, well, that's a Texas A&M kind of a thing. And then Penn State did it. It was a little unprecedented for Penn State to do something like that. And now the Steelers have done it. So it's like, whew. So yeah, but I really do feel like, Joe, it wasn't just a Browns game. I think it was a culmination of a season long. I mean, guys aren't on the same page. They're not getting it. So yeah,
that's a thing. There are many aspects of the offensive coordinator. And in this situation, when you have a young quarterback and a young offense, you have to call the right plays, but you also have to train and develop the team and especially the quarterback to all work together and to improve. And we haven't seen improvement. We've seen Kenny Pickett go from okay to barely functioning as a human being, let alone an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday was his worst performance, basically 106 yards. Again, I know the Browns defense is elite. It is. It's now, as of today, it's the number one defense in the NFL. It's good defense. And It's going to be interesting because I said this yesterday. The Bengals defense stinks. And they are 30th overall. They're 27th against the pass. And you know what? I could just see what's going to happen. Kenny's going to light them up. But you just as much you got to recognize the Browns being a good defense, you have to recognize the Bengals are very poor. The Cardinals are not much better. They're 24th overall in defense, and they're also in the bottom pack and pass defense. So not sure if these next two games are a real test of that, but I think what you want to see, Joe, can you build his confidence up to start throwing back across the middle? What can you do? What's going to happen these next couple of weeks? I think they actually going to have to rebuild Kenny Pickett. Not
Yeah.
because Kenny Pickett sucks. It's just he has. I think when
His confidence is gone.
his confidence is gone. He's lost. Teammates probably a little pissed with him. It seems like the receivers have had enough, and that's technically somewhat his fault. And it's really not his fault. So the kid needs to be kind of brought back into it, in a way that can work.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. He needs to be built up again. He needs to be rebuilt. Honestly, I would tell him, dude, on your day off, go. Don't look at anything. Go go to North Park. Go to a lake. Go somewhere without any civilization and just chill for a day or something like that. Just take a break from all this and just come back and just start over all over again, because it's yeah, he is just a mess right now.
Well, and I
And
think, yeah, I think to your point, that's why a lot of us thought maybe during the bye week, if they were going to make this move, they'd do it then, give them a chance to whatever refocus, relook at everything. But now they kind of have a short week in which to do that, and I mean, the players technically don't come back till tomorrow for their first practice to prepare for Cincinnati. Then they're off for Thanksgiving, and then whatever. Then they probably fly out Friday for Cincinnati. So it could be interesting the way it's worked out. But I mean, so when you think of that timeline there, this must have gotten to the point where, again, it was so bad that, maybe something happened on a team flight on the way home. Maybe some of the players came to Coach Tomlin and said, "Hey, look, I don't know what else to tell you, but either you need to do this or, we're at a breaking point." Yeah, I don't know. Is that Cam Hayward? Is that whoever? But all the stuff we talked about today, I think, again, just boiled over today, and to the point where it got so bad that they had to make this move. Because there's how many weeks left in the season?
seven,
8, 7 or 8
eight,
weeks.
yeah.
So I mean, you rode it this far and almost 12. Why not ride it out? And it was so bad they weren't going to ride it out. The guy's going to get paid for the rest of the year, whatever. Very interesting chain of events here.
Um,
Unprecedented, really
totally,
unprecedented.
yeah, totally unprecedented. To the people that say, how can you be happy that somebody lost their job? No, but you're never happy that anybody lost their job. First of all, Matt Canada is making a 1.5 million a year. I think he'll still have an okay Christmas. Okay. I don't think, he could still, you know, go to Burger King and get an extra cheese on his Whopper if he so wants to. And if you're making 1.5 million and that's a 3-year contract, you're making almost 5 million a year. I mean, almost 5 million total. Hey, yeah, I don't think, but this was necessary because he was really, 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 really bad at his job. And it's not just, yes, the players have regressed, but it was the play calling also. The Najee Harris, after the game, they asked him, it's like, are you what do you think about the offense being predictable? He's like, yeah, it is. We all knew when Najee was in the game, it was a run to the inside. When Jaylen Warren is in the game, it's a toss to the outside. It was so predictable. We all called it. And don't you think the defenses knew that? The defenses knew the play before the offense did. For God's sake. The play calling has been so terrible. And when something did work, they didn't build on it. They didn't take advantage of it. It was just like, it's like he spun a wheel. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this time. It was like random what they did. It was insane.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's kind of like I've never been more sure of something in my life. It's kind of like you see something like, I'm not sure that kid's going to make it. I think he's going to. You go on a risk. Sometimes you don't want to put it out there because you don't want that person like, hey, was this you on this tweet when you're wrong? 5 months
Right,
from now,
right.
5 weeks from now, whatever. But I was relatively confident in saying that this guy just doesn't get it. The team is in dire straits because he doesn't get it, and I guess today is a little bit of vindication on that. I mean, not rejoicing in a man losing his job, but like you said, he's going to be okay. Um, but yeah, we all had it right. Leanne said it on here. Allison, you, me, we've been saying it for a long time. Most of the Pittsburgh media, which I always say the barometer is when Pomp starts when you start losing Pomp. I mean, it's he even him lately, posting things like you know, Kenny's stats and stuff like that, and not directly saying it, but coming out basically saying it. So, yeah, it needs to be addressed. It was addressed, and we'll see how it goes forward. I mean, it is a major thing in the NFL. I think losing an offensive coordinator it's a big deal, right? Because I think in college there's a lot of guys that are young and hungry, and they're in a lot of those meetings, like the NFL guys are too. But I think you have a more of an ability for a lot of those guys to step right up and get creative and have a good relationship. I mean, yeah, the players are gone. Glad he's gone. But what's Faulkner and what's Sullivan going to do here in these next couple of weeks? It's in the middle of the season. It's just an awkward situation, Joe. Short week, like I said, with the holiday. It's an awkward situation. Now I wonder, going into that Bengals game, I was fairly confident we were going to win, even if Canada was there. Now I'm pretty sure we're going to win, but it's a pretty big blow to a team that they're going to walk into Cincinnati. Either they're going to be shaking a little bit, or they're going to go in there like the meme with Vince McMahon when he's walking down yeah, they're going to go out there and beat the ever living hell out of the Bengals. So it could go either way.
You've been in the working world long enough. I'm sure you've had a coworker that got fired. And when you have a coworker that gets fired, you're like, oh crap. I better set my game up. Even if you're not in any danger or anything like that. But if your employer is like, I like get out of here. You're fired. Get out of here. Yeah, another Vince McMahon thing. You're fired. But when you have
Good.
that in the workplace, yeah, fired. Uh, you you get on your toes a little bit. It's like, oh man, they're not happy, because the thing about this is, what do they say when a team's not doing well? You can't fire the whole team. It's much easier to fire the coach. It's like you could basically say to Kenny and the players, especially Kenny, like, okay, you thought he was a problem. Okay, we got rid of the guy you hate. We got rid of the guy you think is a problem. Now it's on you guys. Now it's on the players, and you better perform. Because if Kenny doesn't perform, if Kenny still looks like the deer in the headlights, the lost dude, then we got big problems. As in, let's go draft someone else.
Yeah, and I don't think Mike Tomlin is well liked as he is. If you've ever had a chance to be down close to the sidelines during a game or even at Latrobe, he pulls no punches. I mean, he gets out there. He's that guy with the whistle that's, hey, we got you a new OC. You aren't showing me anything. We got your whole new OC. This is what's the best. I can see him doing it, right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I mean, so he's not going to hold back. Hey, we made the big change. You better step it up. You're right on that. You're 100% correct, Joe. And he's not going to pull any punches in doing that, because one thing I guarantee you, he would have rather, actually urinated on a fire instead of doing that press conference he had to do this morning.
Ooh,
And maybe that's what he
ooh, that
came
was
up with.
rough.
I'd rather do this, because he doesn't like, in that situation, he doesn't like answering those questions. He knew he was going to have to face the music. He had to do it. In fact, if you watched, I thought some of the other questions that came after that, which were just casual questions about the past game going into next week. They were normal questions any of the media would have answered, and he was really snippy with them.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. I think they were talking about Minka's recovery, about him being confident about that, and he like snapped back. Do I look confident about cool,
Bro, we're asking about an injury, okay?
yeah,
We're just asking about the injured status of a player, dude. Don't come at me. Yeah. There was a lot of
right.
times where he's very snippy because I think God knows what's going on behind the scenes. God only knows what was happening, what he's had to deal with. And this is a dude that had to deal with Antonio Brown. He looks more frazzled this year than that Antonio Brown insanity year.
But I'd say honestly, in 17 years or whatever it is now, 18, I think that's probably got to be the most uncomfortable he's ever felt at a Pittsburgh Steelers press conference or media day, whatever media conference, whatever. But yeah, it was clearly evident he was not happy. He was not comfortable, not his thing, not what he wants to do, and here you are, and you have no way out of it. You have no
Yeah.
way out of it. And but that the only thing that caught off guard, and I swear there was awkward silence there. Like I didn't talk to the owner. This was my call alone. Again, I don't buy that. I'm sorry. No way. No way. And I in and out this afternoon, doing some work from home here, watching some like Pat McAfee show, watching Wake Up and some of the other, none of them kind of believe that either. They're like, there's just no way a coach would do that. Like maybe he was a coach GM, which he's not,
Right. Right.
so yeah, I mean, and I just felt that odd. I mean, hey, if Rooney or somebody else told you, then just come out and say it, man. I mean,
You could just say we made a team decision, or we consulted with everybody and we made a decision. But no, he was very adamant. Me. I did it. I made a decision. I made a decision. Okay, man. Okay.
yep.
I mean, there have been times where he said, "Hey, sometimes I just say things just to please you guys or something like that, or just just to placate you guys or something." This might be one of those times. I don't know.
I mean, dude, there
I mean,
were there were Fire Matt Canada signs at NASCAR races this year. There were Fire Matt Canada signs at like an Iowa game. Someone shot me a picture. I mean, no, everybody's okay with this. Trust me,
and
they're okay.
we made it happen. So
Yeah,
let's all work on the next thing. Uh Fix the potholes.
yeah, right.
Drive fast through the tunnel. I don't know. I don't know what the next
Lower
thing we
gas
need to all
prices.
focus our energy on. But if the entire populace can all come together and manifest something to happen, let's all, I don't know, win the lottery or something. I don't know. We
Yeah,
can let's all work on the next
yeah.
project.
Give us 3 of the 5 Powerball numbers. Come on.
Yeah. The timing of this is a bit weird. Usually when something like this happens, it happens on a Monday morning because it's like, okay, we got to get ready for the next game. And, okay, fine, we're making a decision. You go, bye. We got to get ready. We got work to do. But this happened on a Tuesday morning. Apparently, reportedly, Matt Canada came to work and was told, and he saw, the other coaches moving into this desk. Is like, what's going on? Are we moving around or something, guys? And there was a question at the press conference. They said, well, how did the players find out? He's like, oh, they probably saw your tweet. Like, whoa, wait a minute. You make this big change and you don't tell the team first? What?
Yeah, there was nothing normal about this today at all. Which I was texting back and forth with my brother-in-law. God bless him, he's a great guy. And first I said what I knew or what I was told was it was Rooney, and then Tomlin says it's on me. He said, "Well, it's Tomlin." I said, "Well, it could have been both of them." And whatever. Nothing about this is normal. The normalcy again would have been during the bye week.
Yeah.
Talk to the players first. Talk to ownership. Let's do this the right way. Time to readjust. Almost 10 days, 11 days off. No, we're going to do this when we have a very short week on a Tuesday morning. And Tomlin's attitude, everything about it was awkward. It was weird. Like you said, 8:41 this morning, not at 6 a.m. Not, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't, who knows? Did Rooney say, "Hey, you either need to make this choice. It's either him or you"? I doubt that. But I mean, there's all these different things now. I almost feel like the end of the season would be really nice to know what really happened. But it's a Mike Tomlin kind of thing, and as long as he's there, we're probably not going to know because it's like the inner workings of the Vatican or MI6 or the CIA. We're just not going to know this stuff because it's a Mike Tomlin thing. But yeah, I mean, everything's been odd about this from day one. And again, that goes to show how's that going to affect the team this week? Are they going to rejoice? The Vince McMahon cocky walk, or are they going to go up there and lose to a team they probably should beat in almost every way? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll
There's
see.
no excuse. Losing to a a, a third string rookie quarterback making his second start ever, which what does we always say about, Tomlin teams? They always beat those rookie quarterbacks. Well, not this time. And the defense did their job. The defense stopped him. When you hold a team to 13 points, that is plenty good enough. But the offense did not. The offense was just a disaster, and it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. This was
Yeah.
that that should have been a win. That was just a real missed opportunity.
Yeah. And you can make the case, well, hey, they let him go 4 for 4 down the stretch, get them in field goal position. The Browns have a very good field goal kicker. Okay, noted. But the point on that is all we could do is produce 10 measly points. And I know they have the number one defense, but again, they've almost gone out of the last 4 weeks, they've given up 30 points twice, right? So it's not like it wasn't achievable. It's not like we couldn't have had 17, 20. I'm not saying we needed to score 34. But there was chances there that we could have had a touchdown, that we could have been up, where that would have made that drive. They had to go all the way into the end zone, which I think is a different story. If you look at the Steelers' defense, I think overall they're ranked ninth or 10th. They're only giving up, 17 or 18, 19 points a game. That's what it is. But they are giving up like over 300 yards a game. So they're they're like 23rd in yards per game. They bend. They bend, but they don't break.
But they don't break.
They've given up only 18 touchdowns, 12 through the air, 6 on the ground all year. So they don't give up a lot of touchdowns. I would have made it much harder on a rookie quarterback to do that. So, yes, defense maybe let it up a little bit there, but also the offense sure as hell didn't put them in a position to be ahead to make that difficult. So there's two ways you have to look at that.
This almost seems like another season where we are wasting a really good defense, and this is a really good defense, a top 10 defense without Minka, with basically whatever the heck is it with all of the inside linebackers almost gone. They still did the replacements did a good job, especially Landon Roberts. Without Cam Hayward, he was gone all those weeks, and he's still not nearly 100%. And yet it's still a top 10 defense. And if you just had an average NFL offense, this team would be beating teams 24-13, not losing 13-10.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I mean, I thought didn't mean to, but no. And when you look at statistics, a lot of times statistics don't lie. And if you look at that statistic, and the Steelers are giving up 367.7 yards a game, why is that? Because they're on the field so damn long, because the offense can't sustain drives.
Yes.
That's a telltale sign of why they're giving up that many yards. Other than that, I mean, that puts them down near the bottom. When you look at the other way, they've only given up, like I said, 19 touchdowns. It's one of the best in the NFL. Overall points per game, one of the best in the NFL. But they give up so much yardage because they're on the field so often. And then, hey, look, they're young in some areas and they're hurt in some areas, so there's some leeway there. But yeah, if we had an offense that was scoring they're scoring 16 points a game. I mean, that's barely a touchdown and 2 field goals.
Yeah,
barely. We talked about Kenny Pickett's struggles yesterday. We'll talk about him again. I mean, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in history since the NFL merger, right? In touchdowns per game. I mean, it's just, yeah. So they're not doing the defense any favors, because I think you're right. If we're up there and we're producing, let's say 21 points a game, not much more, or even if let's go a touchdown more game, almost 22 points a game, then I don't think they're in this position, right? I think they still would have got their clocks cleaned by the 49ers in week 1, but a couple of those other games, I think they would have been much more competitive and won. I think they would have won against the Browns outright the first time. I think they would have had a chance to beat the Browns again this past week with a decent offense, and it's just not there.
So we will see. We will see. This is this is historic. This is literally precedent setting. This is almost never happened before. So yeah.
I mean, you have to go back. In my house right now, none of us have been born last time this happened. You weren't born. My dad was barely born the last time.
My mom was 1 year old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad would have been 3, right? So, I mean, that's how unprecedented we're talking, and that's why I feel like now this Bengals game, which is probably just, kind of an okay game overall to watch this weekend anyway, is now really gonna be interesting to see what happens with the Steelers this weekend. How are they gonna respond to this? Defense, they should be fine. I'm really interested to see how this offense is gonna perform.
I think I think this is going to bring the team together. I think you have all this frustration. What happens when you get so frustrated? You just let it all out. You scream, you fight, you go crazy. But then it's like, okay, we got that out of our system. Now let's get to work. So
Well,
I think they're going to get to work. I think they're going to be fine.
yeah, and everyone's like, well, they're lucking out because there's no Joe Burrow. Okay, that's part of it. But the other part you have to realize is this was one of the worst pass defenses and one of the worst defenses in the NFL. 30th overall, again, 27th against pass. This couldn't have come at a better time in that instance. So if there was any time for them to rebound and for Kenny to finally toss 2 or 3 touchdowns a game, this weekend is it. And next weekend after that's not bad again, having the Arizona Cardinals come to town. So should be good.
Could you
I
imagine
think you're right.
if the offense goes over 400 yards and Kenny throws for 4 touchdowns or something like that? Where there might be protests, there might be riots because people are like, "Why didn't you do this earlier? Why did
Right.
you wait till Thanksgiving?"
Why did you even bring him back in the first place kind of a thing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh
Justify,
my
baby.
goodness.
Justify.
One of the very first episodes we did of this season, I think you held up a sign that said no more excuses
I
because
did.
we're so tired of, well, it was bad. Well, Kenny's a rookie. Like, there's enough of the excuses. And I think that's where we reach. Where it's like, enough of the excuse. We're done. We're done with the excuses, and you're done. And that's how bad it got that we had to fire somebody in the middle of the season in these circumstances. So, yeah, let's see what
Well, yeah,
happens.
and that's what's interesting too, because what Mike said today wasn't untrue either, right? Like, I think it was kind of that way for him. No more excuses. We're not progressing. We're regressing.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff he said for justification for firing him. I know obviously there's a lot of people out there wanted this, but everything he said, he was right. He hit on every point, and he was right on justifying why he had to do it. I guess we're like, well, what took you so long?
Yeah.
Because the rest of us
Yeah.
kind of knew this in Latrobe, or at week 2 at the latest that this shouldn't be going on. And yeah, so
Results based he says the results based business, and it sure is. You
yeah,
don't get the results, everybody's in trouble. So
yeah,
see, we'll see. You eliminated one thing. There's
right,
more things to eliminate. The
right.
players, the
And now
coach. There's other
everything
things.
comes back right now with Kenny. That's the only other thing we really
Yeah.
touch on tonight. What happens to Kenny Pickett here? I mean, like, obviously, hopefully for him, it's good. And now we see the Kenny Pickett a lot of us were hoping to see or thought we would see. Or is it, I mean, obviously there's a backside of it too, Joe, where there's a lot more pressure. Like, okay, everybody was hating that guy. They were starting to really not like me. Now that guy's gone. Now either I got to go out there these next 2 weeks and light the world on fire, or at least, have a good game, or they're going to be calling for my neck next.
Right. But right. The but the plays are there. It's not like I think a lot of it is, you know, he gets he gets pressure, and then he just gets scared. And that's on the offensive line, but also listen, Myles Garrett is having an MVP like year, and
Yeah.
that is an awesome defense.
Yep.
So yeah, okay, you get sacked. That doesn't mean it's good. It's supposed to ruin your entire career, dude. You gotta adjust to that. And we're not asking for 5 touchdowns. We're asking for something resembling a competent NFL offense. That's it. Just occasionally hit the open guy, move the sticks, progress down the field, stay on the field for a while, and give the defense a break.
Well, and then we can kind of take it off of Kenny Pickett too, because like I said to you yesterday, the one statistic that just made me infuriated Sunday was Jalen Warren goes 74 yards, and then you run 17 plays after he just burnt them again. And out of those 17 plays, not one of them did you say, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we give it to the guy they can't stop? No, we're gonna flip it out to Najee on a cross route. We're gonna have Kenny drop back deep. No, no.
I put out a tweet during the game where I said this was like Jalen Warren was like in one of those Marvel movies where Thanos says, well, the bad guy is defeated, and Thanos says, "Fine, I'll do it myself." It seemed like Jalen Warren was going to win the game all by himself, but they didn't let him.
Right. Yeah. No, and I just there was a couple of 3 and outs there in the third and the fourth quarter where he didn't even get the ball, and it's just like I don't. So I think it's that too. It's we tend to gravitate to making a Kenny Pickett, Matt Canada thing, but I think there was a lot of Matt Canada, Jalen Warren. You saw what Najee did. You saw how he reacted. You saw what he didn't say, and you heard what he did say. So I mean, obviously, it affected Najee. Deontay, he's had his moments, but I've never seen him blow up at Mike Tomlin like that before. So yeah, again, all of that stuff. I mean, I think that was rooted with Matt Canada. And I think, again, it was a culmination. They saw that. But, yeah, interesting to see what Kenny Pickett and Jalen Warren do Sunday. And Najee, but I got to tell you, I really think, like, this is Jalen Warren's team as far as the running back goes right now.
He is. Honestly, he's emerged as the number one back. Yep. I hope what comes out of this is that they all get together, have a frank talk, and say, okay, what's working, what's not working, what do you want to see? Let's all work together to make this work. It doesn't matter, because it almost seemed like an ego thing, like oh, this is my offense, we're gonna call my plays, and that's that. Like, no, let's all just work together, put the egos aside, and just get something that actually works.
Yeah, that's a really great point, because media, us fans, whatever, we don't need to know everything that goes on, but I would hope what happens just like you said. I hope that Faulkner and Sullivan sometime today or tomorrow morning say, hey, you know what? We're going to have it catered by whatever. We're going to get down there tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Don't, just wear your shorts, jersey, whatever. Let's talk. Let's talk this through. Let's see what's working, what's not working. Let me hear what you have to say. Because I do feel like that kind of a thing has to happen, and hopefully it happens.
Uh-oh, where'd you go? That's it. Oh my God. Was it Matt Canada? Matt Canada knocked out Darren's feed. Oh no. Darn you, Matt Canada.
I know, yeah, it was Matt Canada, cursing Matt Canada.
I thought Matt Canada like knocked out your feed or something like that. He was tired of us talking about him.
Came up to Meadville and just knocked the feed out of my street.
He's cutting wires.
Yeah, it's ginger freckled dude. Yeah, no, Joe. Everything you said, I agree with, and hopefully that happens.
Yeah,
it will happen.
Yeah, I think it will. I think this is what was needed. These players. Yeah, they're all young, and maybe they don't know history, but they know this organization, and for them to do something this drastic is huge. And I think they recognize that, and I also think they recognize, okay, and now it's on you guys, so you better deliver.
Yep, pretty much. So the pun is granted. The turkey is on the table. Let's see.
There you go.
Let's see what they can do with it.
That's right. That's right. Perfect for Thanksgiving. All right.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Even Matt Canada. We wish you well in your future endeavors. It was weird. The trending topics were Matt Canada fired. Oh my God, it happened. All this stuff. And then Ohio Walmart. I don't know what happened at Ohio Walmart. So hopefully that's not where Matt Canada is working next. Yeah. Good luck, buddy. There's Indeed.com, there's LinkedIn, there's lots of places to put your resume out there. There's lots of places hiring seasonal,
just stay away from Penn State and I'll be happy.
What's that?
Stay away from Penn State though, Matt. Go somewhere else. Yeah. Don't come here. Yeah. Yep.
Stay away. Yeah, stay away from any of the teams I like. Stay away.
Right.
Hey, don't you come back to Pitt either.
No, not a Pitt. Yep.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming on. I'll see you.
Thanks, Joe. Have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.